6:30 to 8 a.m. Monday through Friday. And I do physical and financial fitness with Patrick. And the reason is I want to motivate you to get in your best shape you can be, no matter what age you're at, no matter where you're starting from. And I also want to motivate people to become more financially free, where we can generate some cash flow. Some people can break away from their actual 9 to 5 that they just don't like going to. Um, Somebody can supplement their lifestyle, and just make things a little bit easier, right? I know, what would it mean for a single mother to get an extra couple $100 a month passively coming in, right? What does it mean for a retiree that the Social Security is not quite cutting it, and life's not as good as they thought it would be in their golden years, and we can help somebody like that. So I'm just here to help motivate you physically and financially. I believe they really go together. Hey, Andy, good morning. I see we've got Andy on here. Good morning, Andy. And waiting as a few more people jump on. But, if you're just catching this replay, you may want to, if you weren't able to watch the live, if you're going to catch the replay, you may want to watch until the end. We're going to do some workouts. What's up, Rod? What's up, Rod? What's up, Andy? Good to see you guys. So straight up, we're going to do some pulling exercises today. Today, I did not feel like doing this. My bed felt really, really good this morning. And so this is one of those days that, like my eyes are heavy. I went and played golf yesterday afternoon and I just got worn out. It's a long day yesterday for me. And I just woke up feeling a little bit drained, and my eyes were a little heavy in the bed. The bed was nice and warm this morning. You guys know where I'm going with this. It felt really great. And I'm going, oh man, I just need to relax this morning. I'm going to stay in bed, get some rest. And I said, nope. I got to be accountable. I got to be accountable for you guys. But that also holds me accountable for myself, right? You don't make a lot of progress by being lazy. Good morning, Dexter. So this morning, I really wanted to have it be a lazy morning. I literally would have probably laid in bed and just held the camera above me and talked to you guys from my pillow this morning. That's how I felt. But one of the things that I've learned to do, and one of the things that I can help y'all do if you want help with it, is to learn how to push through that stuff mentally, get over it, and get to it anyways. My father had a statement that he used to use, because my father taught musculoskeletal physiology as a professor at San Diego State, but he also ran the weight training room. So my dad was big into lifting weights when I was growing up. And my father used to say it a certain way, because my father was in the athletics world and in the world of bodybuilding for a profession, and so my dad used to say it in a certain way. He used to say, do one more rep. And really what he meant by that, and what that means, of course, in exercise and weightlifting, doing one more rep is pushing the limit, right? And just when you feel like quitting, and when everything's very hard and difficult and you feel like quitting, to just do one more at that point. The reason why my dad said do one more rep, my dad felt that in life you would pretty much beat everybody else, or most people, right? My dad thought in life you would pretty much beat most people in most things. You'd be better than most people at most things if you were a person that had the mental fortitude to, when you're ready to give up, you just do one more repetition. So my dad used to say, give it one more rep, just one more rep. And that it spans across, obviously, physical exercise, weightlifting, and life itself, right? It's just the whole don't give up quite yet theory, right? Don't give up when it's comfortable to give up. Push yourself through, do that one more extra effort, because most people aren't willing to do the one more extra effort. So anyways, that's what I'm doing today. I'm saying, look, man, get up, get out of bed, get to giving some value to some people that would like to join you on YouTube and do a good workout. So if you're just joining Financial Physical Fitness with Patrick, what we're going to do is we're going to do some working out today, but we're doing pulling exercises. And secondly, aside from working out today, guys, because it's about physical and financial fitness. So aside from just working out today, if I can motivate you to get in better shape, great. But here's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about something awesome today. Today, we're going to talk about whether you would buy a car cash. If you wanted a new car, if you'd go buy a car cash, okay, if you had the cash. By the way, if anybody's on here, good morning. Good morning, Colton. Good morning, Dexter. Good morning, Andy. Good morning, everybody. Howdy. Physical and financial fitness with Patrick, talking about two things today. Two things, talking about getting in shape with pulling exercises. So we're doing lat pull down, seated rows, and some curls. We're gonna bash out the biceps today. Okay, guys, let's see if we can bash out the biceps, get those things all pumped up. And if you want to do it with me, great. If not, great. Listen in, because what we're going to talk about financially today is a really cool thing. We can actually buy a car cash, right? And tell me if anybody's on here that's ever bought a car cash. Can anybody type in the comment? Drop a 1. Drop a 1 in the comment. My day's good, Colton. Good to see you here, buddy. My day's good. I hope your day's great as well. Drop in the comments a chat for me, guys, or drop in the chat for me a number 1. Just type a number 1 real quick. If you've ever bought a car cash without getting an auto loan. I'm curious to see how many people have bought a car in cash. Just did last month, Andy said. Dexter said, I have. All right, so got a couple of people that have done that before. I have, just did that last month. So cool. Guys, if you've ever bought a car in cash, all right, or if you ever, maybe one of you hasn't bought a car in cash yet, but soon in your future, you're going to come into some cash, right? You may make some good money. You may get an inheritance. You may start a new business. Who knows what? Your business that you started years ago may start producing and you'll get some cash. My point is this, guys, we're going to talk about this cool kind of system, if you want to call it that may be intelligent, right? Maybe intelligent. And we're talking about financial intelligence here on this channel. So it may be intelligent, right, guys, that instead of going to buy a car once you have cash, okay? So you get some cash. You got my eyes on a Ferrari. How close are you to the Ferrari F360? And where are you headed with that? So my point is this, guys, check this out. I'm going to show you a system, whether it's a really expensive car, like a Ferrari F360, fine. Or it's just a normal car, right, guys? At any level, I'm just going to show you a pretty cool system, okay? If you had, Dexter says, go to auction and buy a car for $2,000. There you go. But somebody, Dexter, may be a little bit more interested in a certain specific type of car that maybe they won't find at the auction. Maybe they want a new car. Maybe who knows what, right? Maybe somebody wants a Ferrari F360. All good. All I'm going to show you guys is a thought process today of if you had cash and you were going to go and buy, if you had cash and you were going to go and buy a car with it, right? Like LSD Dreams. That's a cool name. Like LSD Dreams. I got the money just looking for the right spec. This might be really good for you then too, man. LSD, if you have enough loot to go out there and get you a Ferrari F360, if that's the case, then you've really done well financially. So this may be a reminder for somebody like LSD Dreams or not, but it could be some nugs for all you guys to figure, do you ever take the cash, right? And I saw LSD saying here, cash is king. Cash is trash. Cash is not king any longer. Cash flow is king. Cash flow is king. Cash is trash though, right? You understand? Cash is devaluing. They're printing the shit out of it. It's got a never-ending supply. It's not backed by gold. So cash really is trash. But cash flow is king. I'm with you though. But let's talk about something cool where, LSD Dreams over here is gonna go buy a Ferrari F360, which is a badass car if you guys have ever seen that. If not, look it up. But you're gonna go buy a Ferrari, right? What's the cost for me right now, LSD, since I'm not in the market for a Ferrari at this moment? LSD Dreams, do you have kids? I got 2 kids. One of them's 1.5. Our dream car right now is a Suburban. I couldn't fit anything in a Ferrari, including my golf clubs. I golf and all that. So we roll the Suburban right now for sure. But how much is a Ferrari F360? Does anybody know? Because we'll use the Ferrari F360 as an example. That's an exciting thing. Most people won't ever want to or go and buy or be able to go and buy in cash a Ferrari at all. Okay. But some may. Okay. So let's talk about a unique system financially on how you can buy a car, and instead of buying a car with your cash, you could buy a mortgage note as an asset and let the asset pay for the car. We're going to talk about why that might be an intelligent idea at no matter what level you're at and what car you're going to go buy. Okay. But the point here is, guys, if you're going to go buy a car with cash, I would recommend never doing that is going to be my point today. And you'll see why. Okay. So yesterday we talked about 10 common financial myths. Hi, Mark. Mark LaMarca, good morning. Mark Clark, my new vehicle is ordered. Well, maybe you're too late, but maybe you could do this for the next vehicle, right? So, guys, here's all I'm saying, right? Of course, many people never have enough cash to go and buy a car that they would like in cash. So a lot of people just go get an auto loan, okay? We understand that. We understand an auto loan is bad debt, right? It's not good debt. You're borrowing money against your future effort, to pay for something you can't afford. So, we know that, guys, that most people will go get an auto loan, right? And then you have a car payment every month. And not only do you have the car payment every month, of course, because you got the auto loan, but you've also got your upkeep, your depreciation, your insurance, right? And so cars are generally bad investments, right? Cars are generally one of the worst investments, actually. They're complete liability and they lose value every mile you drive them and so on, right? So we'll talk about today an EV Scout. Interesting. That's cool. EV Scout. I'm not sure if I'm too familiar with an EV Scout. Obviously, electric vehicle and a Scout. Is that an SUV? I don't know. Sounds cool. But let's talk about if you're going to go get your EV Scout, if you're going to go get your Ferrari F360, if you're going to go get your Hyundai Sonata. Okay, it doesn't matter. But if you're going to go get yourself a car, okay, and you're ever in a position, which some people have already done on here, some people are. Oh, nice. Very cool, Mark. So guys, you're going to get it. So we're going to talk about a system on how you can actually go ahead and buy the car you want. Okay. But not have to pay the cash for it, essentially. Okay. In essence, we're going to show you a system to have an asset pay for the car. Okay. 188K. That's not even that bad, dude. Yeah. Wow. Okay. That's not even that bad, honestly. 188K for the Ferrari F360. All right, then. Straight up, that's not that bad, right? There's a lot of those supercars that are in the 500,000 pretty easily up into the millions. 188K, no big deal. Let's go. Let's get it. So let's show you guys, okay? And I want to use this as an example since it was brought up here by one of the viewers. Let's use this $188,000 Ferrari F360. I know most people are never going to have $188,000 cash they're sitting on to go out and especially spend that money on a Ferrari. But let's talk about it just because it's fun. Okay. Should we talk about the Ferrari here? You guys tell me, should we talk about the Ferrari as the example of the car we would buy in this scenario? Or should we talk about a more standardized vehicle, like say in the 50K range? How do you want to do it? How do you want to do it for numbers, for ease of understanding? Should we talk the 188K Ferrari or should we talk about a regular like $50,000 car? How should we break it down? Because I'm going to show you guys a smarter plan. Standard car. Okay, we'll do that standard car, Dex. But I know that anybody who would be able to afford cash purchase of $188,000 car should understand this already. And if they don't, hopefully they'll learn something too. So let's go over this, guys. You have $50,000, okay? You get an inheritance, grandpa passes and leaves some money, whatever it may be, guys. I don't know. You run into a real estate deal, you do a great house flip, whatever it may be, okay? And now you're sitting on some cash. And oftentimes, just like a really, really, really good friend of mine, which is so funny, that you can tell your great friends things and they totally take it for granted and generally strangers somehow find solace in listening to you if you're an intelligent person. So I had a friend of mine that came into money. They had a lawsuit. Okay. A good friend of mine had a lawsuit, won a lawsuit, came into like 300 grand or something like that. I forget at the end of the day how much they actually got, but they came into some really good money. All of a sudden they had a pile of cash. Okay. And the first thing my buddy says is, we're going to buy some cars. And I'm like, all right. I go, are you going to just pay cash and go buy the cars? And he goes, yeah, man, we need some cars. We've needed some cars for a really long time. Anybody feel like this? Like, You haven't had money, so things are getting to a point where you're like, God, I wish I had a damn new car. I wish I could get a new car. Yeah, one ear out the other, Dex. So I wish I could get a new car. I've hated this car for long enough. God, I've beat this thing to death. I'm getting a damn new car. I wish I had money. And then you came into an inheritance, and all of a sudden you had 200 or 300 grand in your bank account. Obviously, it's simple for a lot of people to get excited and have money finally, and then start to think of all those things they could finally get their hands on, right? We're a consumer-driven society. And so it would be as if people get money and they get feverish, frenzy, and they go, woo, and they get excited. Now I can go buy that car I've always wanted. Now I can go buy these things, right? And all of a sudden people run out of the money and buy liabilities. So I'm just going to show you guys something that may be a little bit smarter, right? Matt Clark, generate an average of 30 kilowatt hours solar power a year. Oh, okay. Well, that's pretty slick, dude. So it generates a grip of electricity. So for them, makes sense to use an electric vehicle. There you go. There you go. That's pretty slick, man. Good for you. That's that's a pretty good amount of electricity production. Awesome. So either way, guys, we're going to go buy our EV Scout. We're going to go buy how much is an EV Scout, by the way? If I wanted to go buy this EV Scout, how much is a car like that? I know brand new electric vehicle, probably an SUV. It ain't cheap. What? It ain't cheap, right? We talked about the Ferrari at $188,000. Dexter said I should use a $50,000 example here because that's an average vehicle, I guess, in today's market for most people. But what we're going to talk about is, do you go 60 grand? All right, cool. That's perfect. So let's use this exact example. All right. For Matt Clark, let's use this exact example. Max said the EV Scout, which is an electric vehicle, probably pretty damn cool, is 60 grand. So this is the type of car. An EV Scout is the type of car that most folks, most families with kids or and tell me if I'm wrong. I'm thinking it's an SUV, but I don't know what I'm talking about. So if I'm wrong here, but a great car, right? Electric car makes sense for Matt Clark's family because Matt produces 30,000 kilowatt hours of solar power electricity each year. So it just makes sense for him and his family to have electric cars. Why the hell not? It's an SUV. That's what I thought. Thank you, James. James Jones said, it's an SUV, brother. Thank you. So, I'm going to set this up, then I'm going to get to working out. We're going to talk about it, guys, because I've been sitting here too long. We want to jack the biceps up today is kind of the point. I got some sort of golfer's elbow going on. We're going to work through that. So we're going to be doing lat pull down, seated rows, upright rows, curls. Let's go. We're going to do that. But let's set this up. We have this $60,000 EV Scout. Okay. We're 60 grand EV Scout. It's an SUV. It's electric. It's probably dope. It's got all the dopest features and all the bells and whistles, right? I'm certain. So you got the EV Scout, 60 grand. This is a car that maybe most people would go and buy. And most people that go buy this EV Scout wouldn't have the cash in hand to go buy a $60,000 car. So most people maybe go make a little small down payment, if any, and then try to get an auto loan, 5-6 year auto loan, make the payment as low as possible, get into bad debt for a liability, blah, blah, blah. We know that. All right. So now we're going to say somebody has some cash. So let's say Matt Clark and his family do well. They have a business. They're obviously producing quite a bit of solar power, electricity. So sounds like people of means here, right? Someone on here is going to try to buy a Ferrari F360. Okay. So we're not talking completely broke folks. We're talking folks of means. They've came into an inheritance. Their business has done well. They have enough money to go buy this car. So what we're talking about is a $60,000 SUV called an EV Scout. Let me ask you this. Do we go and take the money? Do we get $60,000 cash and go down, pick out the EV Scout that we want, lay the $60,000 cash down, get the keys, drive out, say, man, we feel good. We bought our new car and we're stoked, and we drive the EV Scout home. We've let $60,000 of wealth we've let that go. We've given that $60,000 of wealth to someone else. They've given us in return this EV Scout that's worth $60,000. So that's buying a car cash. Now, do we buy the car cash? Or better yet, do we buy a note? Because you all know I'm in the mortgage note investing space. Do we buy a note and let the note pay for the car? So if you're just hopping in, guys, Physical and Financial Fitness with Patrick, we're about to bust out a workout, and we're about to understand a systematic approach instead of buying a car cash. If you ever had enough cash to buy the car, instead of doing that, let me show you something different. you could use the cash to buy a mortgage note. You guys know that I'm a mortgage note investor. It's one of the things I specialize in. So I'm telling you this because I'm going to show you why it's a much, much, much more intelligent idea to take your money. If it's $60,000 we're going to spend on this EV Scout, take $60,000, buy a mortgage note, then go buy the car with financing or a lease, whether it be, like we said, most people get a 5 or a 6 year auto loan or whatever it may be. And why I'm going to show you that that's a smarter idea than it is to just go buy the car in cash. Okay. So let's talk about that. Let's get set up to do some lifting here and not just a bunch of jaw jacking. My jaw's already jacked. So let's get a little warm up set, guys. Right now we have 30 pounds on each side. So this will be 60 pounds we're going to start with. And I'm going to throw my leg support in here because, you know, we got a little leg support when we do the lat pull downs. When you understand it, it's practical and logical to use the note to offset, help pay the car. It's a great spread. Yeah. And not even that, I'll show you why. I'll explain to you guys why this is a really cool plan, and it'll require a little bit of math. So I don't know if Andy's still on. I know we got Dex. I don't know if Dex is chilling or if Dex is driving or what's going on, Dexter. But we got Mac on here. I don't know if somebody can be my math genius and help me out in the comments, right? Because we're going to do a little bit of math. Yep, Andy. Yep. All right, cool. So help me do a little bit of math so that we can understand where I'm going with this, guys, because I don't obviously have a PowerPoint presentation or a whiteboard, but this won't be that difficult to understand, okay? And we're talking about here buying a $60,000 car. Mac is in the chat and said, "Going to buy a $60,000 car, which is an electric vehicle. It's called an EV Scout." So, like, pick out any in your head, any $50,000 or $60,000 car that you'd like to buy. So we're starting there, guys. We're going to use the example that Mac has in here. And we're either going to buy the $60,000 EV Scout in cash, or we're going to take 60 grand and we're going to go buy a mortgage note with it as an investment. So we're going to own a mortgage note in our portfolio as an asset, increasing our net worth and producing very reliable and collateral-backed passive monthly cash flow. And so we just had someone in here, and forgive me for not going back in the chat, but someone said, cash is king. And I said, well, maybe back in the day when that statement was invented, cash is king, but no longer is cash king, guys. Cash is complete trash. It's losing its value like crazy, and they're printing more monopoly money, and they're going to print a shitload more in the next 2 or 3 years. It's just devalue currency. So cash really is trash. It's being devalued day by day by day. Cash flow is super king. Okay, cash flow is king, and I'm going to show you why. For us, we invested in precious metals since 1976. Let's just say that in excess of 1,000 number of silver over the past 49 years. That's awesome, man. So you must have had, Mac, a financially intelligent family. So congratulations to that. Many of us did not. Many of us are just beginning to become the change maker for our family tree. So it sounds like maybe Mac had a dad, a granddad, maybe both, that had done some things that were financially intelligent and that were people of means and did well and were smart with their money. And maybe, Mac, you might have grown up a little differently than a lot of people. So congratulations for you on that. That's fantastic. And some of us are trying to become that person, right? We want to be the dad or the granddad that sets our family up, make sure our kids and grandkids have a much better life than we grew up with, and so on. And yes, Dexter's the change maker in his family tree, you see. So let's talk about that, right, guys? Either way, it doesn't matter. This is smart, right? So if somebody like Mac's family was around, they'd be going, hey, listen to this guy. He's telling you guys the truth, because they probably get this theory then. Now, of course, gold and silver and these kinds of investments are stores of value, and stores of value that really grow well when fiat currency is getting destroyed. So when people lose faith in their actual fiat currency, they go into God's money, which is gold and silver. So someone was very smart and tactical over years and years and years in Mac's family. So Mac, your family would probably understand exactly what I'm about to teach people here. Simple idea is, instead of buying a liability with your cash, you go and buy an asset that produces cash flow. If you have an asset that produces cash flow, you can allow the cash flow from that asset to pay for the car. I'm going to tell you why that's smart, okay? Why that's an awesome thing. Even if, let's start here, guys, and you guys tell me in the chat before we get into the math here, but somebody tell me, if you buy a new car, let's say Matt goes out and gets this EV Scout for 60 grand, okay? And you get yourself your new car. Of course, at first, the car is new and it's awesome and you take really good care of it and you don't want to get one little nick on it. And if the dashboard's dusty, we're wiping it off and it's nice. It smells new. It's new. It's a new feeling. Everything's great about it, right? And you tell me if I'm wrong. If you drive that car around, even the Ferrari, honestly, but if you drive that car around for like a year or two, doesn't whatever car it was sort of become the norm? Doesn't it become, you're comfortable with it? It's not new anymore. And it just becomes the car, right? Even a Ferrari or even badass cars. It still is just kind of becomes less exciting when you've had it for a year or two, right? That's one thing. Tell me if I'm wrong. Drop a 1 in the comments if you agree, okay? That the car doesn't have its new luster anymore. It just becomes your car, okay? No matter at what level car you get, it kind of becomes normalized after you've driven it around for a year or two. That's one thing. Two thing is, normally, when people get an auto loan, it's normally a 5 or 6 year auto loan. Okay? Drop a 1 in the comments if you agree. Somebody go get an auto loan. It's normally a 5 or 6 year auto loan, generally. Okay? That's number 2. And number 3 is this. Most people don't really like to keep the same car for longer than about that amount of time. I think it's about every 5 to 6 years. I think you can look it up and tell me if I'm off here. But I think it's about every 5 to 6 years, if I remember correctly, every 5 to 6 years that people change cars. Okay? How often do you change cars? Like, when was your last car to your new car? What's the gap there? Overrated until you enter the ramp and people don't want to let you in. The power brings back the reason you bought it. Ha ha ha. Yeah. That is funny. Dexter was just commenting there. So tell me about this, guys. 3 to 6 years for cars. There you go. So we have a couple different things here working. Number 1 is that a car is a really bad investment. That's number 1. Number 2, a car most people buy on a 5 or 6 year auto loan. Okay. When they don't have the cash to buy it. And then number 3, most people get sick of or wear out or the new models come out, every 5 to 6 years, people, oh, Mac, 2014 was your last car. That's a pretty long run, right? So then we're talking like 10, 12 years here, but that's fine. Average lease lasts 36 months. So yeah, you guys are understanding the timing here, right? So you guys get it. We won't beat that dead horse, but we're going to talk about the difference of buying this car cash for 60 grand, this EV, or buying the asset, which is a mortgage note that produces passive cash flow, and using the passive cash flow to pay for the car. And we're going to go over why. Okay. So let's do some math, Andy. We're going to run some math on, is it smarter to buy the car cash? And we're talking right now about a $60,000 EV Scout. Okay. You're going to go buy a $60,000 EV Scout cash because we got the money. I got 60 grand cash and I want the car. I'm going to go buy it. Okay. Or do we just put a different system in place? Do we go and we buy the, there you go. There you go. I can't read that name. We're going to say John, right? But John says he's got a 2003 Ford F-150 with 300,000 miles on it. My kind of guy, man. My kind of guy. And probably still runs great. All right. So we're going to talk about, do we go and buy the car cash for 60 grand, EV Scout, or do we buy a mortgage note for 60 grand and then finance the EV Scout to make payments? All right. That's what we're going to talk about. What would be a smarter idea? And let's run some math. Okay. Do me some math, Andy. And let's run some math on a mortgage note purchase real quick at 60 grand. So if I buy a mortgage note for $60,000, and I don't know if you can do this in the financial calculator, if anybody has a financial calculator, because I want to get this right and make sure that we show you that it might be a little better, smarter idea to take your cash of 60 grand, go buy an asset called a mortgage note, collect secured, reliable monthly cash flow passively, and have the monthly cash flow from that asset pay for the car. And why is this going to be really smart? I'll show you why. So what is it? What is it if we put $60,000 into a mortgage note, Andy? 60 grand. And the note is at 240 months. Let's say there's 20 years left on the note, okay? So we're buying a note for 60,000 bucks. There's 20 years left of payments on this note. Well, let's see. I guess I have to backtrack that. Andy, do you have a financial calculator that you can use or no? Otherwise, I may have to do it real quick. If it'll may not let me, I might have to shut out of my YouTube live, but somebody has a financial calculator. Let me know if we can do the actual numbers. But here we go, guys. So we got a $60,000 note, and it's got 240 months left of payments on it. Not here. You don't have a financial calculator? All right. So we'll just do round numbers, guys. If I've got a $60,000 purchase, a note that I've bought, and I'm making a 12% yield over 20 years, we just want to figure out how much that note pays us in passive cash flow. Okay. I have one. Hold on. Dexter's got his financial calculator. Beautiful. But what's going to end up happening, guys, because I sort of know the numbers, I just wanted to be more exact for y'all, is this. If you bought the $60,000 note, you're making 12% annualized yield on that note for, say, a 20-year time frame. The payment should be in somewhere around like $600 a month. No, excuse me. $650, $680, something like that. Interest on American-built vehicle is now deductible. Oh, that's pretty cool. Is that a new legislation by the Trump cabinet where if you buy an American-built vehicle, the interest on the loan is now tax deductible? That's pretty cool. All right, so we got the financial calculator up. Guys, if you're just jumping in, Financial Physical Fitness with Patrick, we're going to talk about today why it would be smarter if you had $60,000 instead of going and buying a car with the 60 grand. I'm showing you guys how to buy a mortgage note with the 60 grand, use the mortgage note as an asset to pay for the car, and why this might be a smarter idea. We're going to run the numbers, run the math, and you guys are going to tell me if you think it's a pretty cool idea or not. So Andy Dexter is trying to whip up his financial calculator. Are you able to do that, Dex? Let's get some real numbers going. So I want to buy a note for 60 grand. I'm earning a 12% yield on this, and I'm giving you guys a perfect example of a mortgage note that's normal for today's marketplace that you could find on today's marketplace, and we could buy you one of these mortgage notes very quickly, okay? So that's what I'm going to show you, something that's normal, not over-exaggerating. So we got 60,000. We're making 12% yield on our 60,000. There's 240 months left. What's the payment? So if you put 60,000 with a minus sign above PV, you put 240 months above N, the number of months, and you put 12 above the interest, then you solve for payment. I want to know how much would we be getting, how much would we be collecting in passive cash flow per month if we bought that note? Can you make it happen? $60,000 with a minus sign? Okay, I will. So put $60,000 with a minus sign above the PV. And then put 12 above the percentage rate. Annual percentage rate, put 12, IYN, the interest. Okay. And then put 240 over on the left-hand column in number of months. So we want the calculator to read 240, 12, then 60,000 with a minus sign in front of it. Then we want to press to solve for payment. So that's going to be how much monthly cash flow that we're collecting from this mortgage note asset we bought with the money. So instead of buying the car with 60 grand, we're going to go buy a note for 60 grand. Then we're going to use the note to pay for the car. And we're going to show you guys why mathematically and why you might think this is a great idea. Whether we're getting this $60,000 EV Scout or we're getting a $160 some odd thousand Ferrari. So maybe around $500 or $600 per month. Yes, Mr. Info. I know it's maybe around $500 or $600 a month. But I wanted maybe somebody to try to help me get the exact number so that we can be real here. Somebody who has a financial calculator. Dex, you got me or no? I may have to do it myself, but I don't know. I don't want to cut my live off trying to get to my calculator. But guys, let's say $600. Let's say it is going to be, and it's going to be more than that. Okay, guys, it's a 12% yield, so it's $60,000 note purchase. It's going to be like $640 a month. Give me the numbers again. Okay, Bethany will do it. All right, cool. We got Bethany in here. Straight up losing viewers because we can't get through the section. So thank you, Bethany. So in the financial calculator, guys, we want $60,000 with a minus sign above PV. We want 12 in the interest rate section. We want 240 months. Okay. Yeah, perfect. Dexter's like, save my ass. 60,000 with a minus sign above PV, 12% yield, 240 months remaining. What's the payment we're going to collect? $660. That's what I thought. Gosh, I was so close. I could have just guessed it, right? Done too much of this financial calculating in my career to, I almost have it in my head. There we go, guys. All right. So here we are. Here we are. Okay. Now, guys, what we just found out is if we go and buy a note, if we go buy a performing mortgage note for 60 grand and we're able to achieve a 12% yield on that note, which is very common in the note buying place here. I know, Dex, I was losing my video too. So it pays $660 a month passive cash flow. But I want you guys to hear that math, okay? We bought $60,000 asset that produces $660 a month of passive cash flow for 20 years. Okay. So that's what we're going to go buy with the 60 grand instead of buying the EV Scout. Okay. Because the whole point here, guys, is we have 60 grand cash. We're going to go buy an EV Scout. An EV Scout is one of the new electric SUVs. That's really cool. We're going to go buy one of those and we're going to buy a $60,000 EV Scout. We're going to buy it cash money because why not? We got the money and who wants a car payment anyways? And debt is bad. We're going to pay interest and all this stuff. We get it. So let's just go buy this darn thing, not have a car payment, and just walk off the lot with our brand new EV Scout for 60 grand. Sounds like a good idea. And it might be a good idea. I'm not dogging you for that, but I'm just saying most people with financial intelligence would know that we're not supposed to put our money into liabilities. We're supposed to put our money into assets. And you've heard the wealthy say, you put your money into the assets, you let your assets pay for your liabilities. We all heard that? So that's where we're headed down this path. Now we can, instead of buy the $60,000 EV Scout, we can go buy a mortgage note. We can buy a mortgage note for 60 grand. We're getting a 12% annualized yield on that investment, annualized return on that investment. And that's for 240 months. That's 20 years. Now, all the while, if you don't know much about mortgage note investing, we have the physical real estate as our collateral, and that's worth a lot more than the 60 grand we put into the note. Okay? Yes, Rod, it is 660, Rod. That is true. The financial calculator said 660. Chat GPT said 660. So we're collecting a $660 a month cash flow payment from the note that we bought. Okay, you guys with me there? But that's for 20 years straight. How long did we say most people get auto loans for? And how long did we say most people have a car before upgrading or switching to a new model? On average in the United States. So we said most auto loans that people get are 5 and 6 year auto loans. Most people only stay with the same car for 3 to 5 years before they're sick of it and they want to upgrade to something new or better. Now, of course, we've got folks on here that are my kind of folks, right? Still driving around 2003 Ford F-150, 300,000 miles on it. Let's go, right? You guys see my Mercedes back here? That has no car payment on it, of course, at all anymore. Okay. So it's all good, man. Some of us are okay sticking with our old car for a while. Some of us don't drive a lot of miles. Some of us don't beat cars up. I drive my car 2,400 miles a year on average. So we're in the family Suburban most often because I got the kids and all the gear and stuff like that, and it don't fit in the Benzo. So I drive that to the golf course and around town and things like that. So, you know, I could definitely afford to have a badass car sitting back here that worth 200 grand, but I'm smarter with my money, guys. I don't need fancy stuff to show off to people I don't like. All right. So most auto loans are 5 to 6 year auto loans. Most people are kind of sick of or so used to the car they've had for 5-year time period that they're ready to upgrade after 5 years or get a different ride. Okay. That's normal. So, wow, because, yeah, Dex, it's crazy, right? Because of the higher prices of vehicles, inflation, because the higher prices of vehicle, deflation of spending power of American fiat currency, because of the higher prices, they now have 10-year auto loans. Guys, they're going to 40 and 50-year mortgage loans. This shit ain't to help us. This shit is to help us stay enslaved to debt and continue to sell away our future self for liabilities. That's what that's for. All right. So don't get fooled. But here's the deal. Now, instead of buying the $60,000 EV Scout, we've bought a $60,000 note. So we've took the $60,000, invested into a cash flow producing asset. Cash flow is king, and you'll see why. Okay. Because when we bought the note for $60,000, we bought a cash flow stream of 20 years worth of payments of $660 a month. That's the asset we bought with our 60 grand. Now, let's go and buy this EV Scout. Somebody do me a 6-year loan. 6-year loan. Somebody of means probably has family money and good credit, which Mac was saying probably comes from a family of means, it seems. So, family of means, got the money, got the cash to buy the car, probably got good credit scores, probably got all this. So we're talking about go get an auto loan, a 6-year auto loan. I don't know if Bethany's still on, but do me this. What's a 6-year auto loan? We want to figure out the monthly payment. What's a 6-year auto loan? $60,000 purchase. So $60,000, 6 years. And what's the going interest rate on an auto loan for somebody who has really good credit these days and stuff like that? 7%. Maybe it's a brand new electric vehicle, so probably maybe they have some sort of thing where you might get some special deal. I don't know, but let's just say, guys, for a normal car payment, is it $7? Is that what you put 7 there, Dex? Is that $700 a month? I don't know what the 7 means. 7%, $1,000 a month. All right, so there we go. So we got a $60,000 auto loan. Okay, $60,000 auto loan, 7%. For 6, is that for 6 years, Beth? That payment seems kind of high, but maybe that's right. Seems kind of high. 7%. Yeah. So, 60 grand at 7% over 6 years. Does that payment come out to $1,000? Is that what that is? Or is that 5 years? 72 months. Okay, cool. All right. So here we go. We go and finance this electric vehicle, guys. The EV Scout, we finance it for a 6-year auto loan, a 7% interest, and we have $1,000 a month payment. Okay. So how much are we collecting from our note that we bought? $660, right? $660. So if we're collecting $660 from the note and the payment's $1,000, we have a $340 spread we need to cover every month for a car payment. Okay. So now you're paying $340 a month for a car payment. The note's paying the rest. But here's the difference. How long is the auto loan for? The auto loan for 72 months, right? Bethany said that's a 6-year auto loan. It's 72 months. So if you kept the car and you let the mortgage note of $660 a month pay for most of that car payment, and you paid the other $300 a month, instead of coming off of all that $60K cash, okay? If you had $60K cash to buy a car, I'm sure $300 a month won't break the bank for you. So here we've got average car note is 8% and $1,000 a month. Yeah, makes sense. It's wild, right? That's wild. So anyways, so you took the 60 grand and you went and bought the mortgage note. Okay. Now you've got $660 a month passive cash flow coming in for 20 years. You went and did a 6-year auto loan on this car. It's got $1,000 a month payment. So for 6 years, you'll pay $300 a month. Yes, it does. But I'm talking about the car payment here. But so here's what I'm going to tell you guys. How long is the auto loan? We said a 6-year auto loan, right? So if you just paid the car payment and you paid your loan as agreed and all that good stuff, then you'd have paid $300 a month out of pocket for a payment, and you'd have $660 a month paying for most of that car payment. Here's the thing. After the 6-year time marker, what happens to the car payment? Tell me what happens at the 6-year time marker. What happens to the car payment at the 6-year time marker? What happens at 6 years of the auto loan, guys? Is it paid off? Justice, we're going to do some seated rows. So we did some lat pull downs. Yes, Dexter said, the note keeps on paying you, but the car payments go away. It goes away. Isn't that interesting? So what's crazy here, guys, is that someone could go and buy a $60,000 car. We know that $60,000 is now completely gone from the family's wealth circle. Okay? Then we get this car we bring into the family wealth circle that we bought with the 60 grand. And what happens is now we have a car that loses value every mile we drive it. It's a complete liability. It produces zero profit or cash flow. In fact, it costs a lot of money in maintenance, insurance, expenses, upkeep, who knows what. So here we've just traded our family's wealth away to bring into our family wealth circle a liability that's going to lose value. So that's why I think it's not smart to go and buy cars just in cash. In this case, if we would have bought the $60,000 note, where'd my handbook go? Let me get this thing. If we would have bought a $60,000 note with those terms that we had described, you'd be collecting that $660 a month. Now, what Dexter said, which was smart, because Dexter knows some of this already, is that the note, though, that you bought with the 60 grand pays $660 a month, guys, for 20 years. The cash flow don't stop. But what happens is pretty soon your car payment stops. Mac, if I buy a mortgage note for 60K, okay, so let's answer this question real quick. Mac had a good question. Question is, Mac said, if I buy a mortgage note for 60 grand, what happens during a real estate collapse? Well, Mac, let me run these numbers down for you and you'll get it. When I buy performing notes, not only do we buy the debt at a discount, that's first of all. So if I buy a note for $60,000, the people who are the borrowers probably owe me $75,000. So I'm buying into the note for 60K cash and I'm taking over this debt, right? I'm taking over the next 20 years of someone's mortgage payments. Well, when I invested 60 grand to buy that asset, you buy note debt at a discount. You buy mortgage debt at a discount on the secondary mortgage market. So if I invested 60 grand to buy the note, the people owe me 75,000. Okay. So I'm buying $75,000 worth of debt for 60 grand. That's number one. Number two, more related to your question is, we have generally 40, 50, maybe 60% investment to value ratio based on the $60,000 note purchase and the actual house that's acting as our collateral. So we bought in for 60 grand. They owe us 75 grand. And the house is worth 200,000. That's acting as our collateral. So you understand, if we're in the deal for $60,000 and the physical real estate acting as our collateral is worth $200,000, there would have to be more than a market crash. It would have to be twice as bad as what happened in 2008 for us to find ourselves in any jeopardy. So that's why this note investing, some hear about it, I learned about it, and I thought this might be too good to be true. What's the catch? Well, it's not. It's called collateralized lending. And in a mortgage situation, you have an actual physical piece of real estate as your collateral. Paper contracts are how secure during a financial crisis. Yes. Yes. So I invest in paper contracts backed by physical real estate. So we're well collateralized. Number one, we bought the debt at a discount. Number two, the house that's acting as our collateral and our safety net is worth $200,000. And we bought the note for 60 grand. So that should answer your question about what happens if the market crashes. Here's another beautiful thing. If the real estate market crashes, does that change or alter how much someone needs to pay their monthly mortgage payment? Does it change the amount of someone's monthly mortgage payment when the value of their actual house drops in value? Does it change the amount of their monthly mortgage payment? Yes or no? Drop a yes or a no in there. Okay. So if the market crashed in half, if the real estate market fell in half, then it would be a $200,000 house that has now dropped to $100,000 in value. I'm in there for $60,000. That's if the market crashed in half, 50%. Okay. So that's why I'm saying a mortgage note, number one, if you're learning this lesson, a mortgage note, number one, is one of the best investment vehicles I've ever seen in 25 years of investing in entrepreneurial endeavors. One of the best investments I've ever seen on the market, because you have collateral, you have passive monthly cash flow, and cash flow is king. Cash is trash. Cash flow is king. So you have 660 month of passive cash flow coming in for 20 years straight. You got the debt at a discount, and you have, for a $60,000 investment, you have a $200,000 house acting as your collateral. So you're fairly protected, guys. It's not volatile like the stock market or cryptocurrency market. It's a contractual rate of return, paper contract, as was just said. No, NJ, why would you be blocked? I love having NJ on here. Thanks for coming, NJ. No, you would never be blocked unless something weird happened with YouTube or on your end. But we're talking about today, do we go buy a car with cash? In this case, it was an EV Scout we're talking about as the car. Do we go buy an EV Scout with cash, which costs $60,000? Or do we take $60,000 instead of go buy a car with cash, we go and we buy an asset? In my case, I buy a cash flow producing asset called a mortgage note. It's a paper contract. People tend to pay their mortgages, so you get pretty reliable cash flow. And of course, by way of numbers and how we buy these mortgage notes, we don't care if they pay us as agreed, pay their mortgage off early, or stop paying their mortgage. All three of those scenarios are going to work out for us as the investor if we buy these notes right. So take the 60 grand and buy a mortgage note. The mortgage note we're talking about is spitting off $660 a month passive cash flow for 20 years. Somebody do the numbers on that for me, would you? Somebody put this, not in the financial calculator, so this is something simple you guys can do for me. What is $660 a month payment times 240? No, but how many will continue making a payment on a property that's worth 50% of its contractual terms? Didn't say 50% of its contractual terms, Bubba. We said that their house was worth 200 grand. They owe the bank 75,000. We bought the note for 60 grand. So the people only owe the bank 75 grand. If their house dropped from 200,000 down to 100,000, they're not even upside down. They owe the bank 70. Their house is worth. All right. So Bethany's showing me here. With this mortgage note purchase that we buy for 60 grand and we collect 240 monthly payments of $660, we would grow the $60,000 investment into $158,000 over those 20 years with $660 a month of passive cash flow hitting the bank account every month reliably throughout the 20-year time frame. So what happens, guys, is that eventually, pretty quickly, right? Within a 5 or 6 year time frame, in this case, we used a 6-year loan. Within a 6-year time frame, the car is completely paid off. You own the car outright. Okay. But at that point, you still have this asset that is spitting you off $660 a month. And if these folks pay you as agreed, meaning they pay their mortgage payment on time every month to the extent of their loan, right? They just pay their mortgage payment on time every month for the next 20 years. That is $660 a month of passive cash flow without headaches, without landlord duties. And that $660 a month comes in reliably every month by way of mortgage payment. And that's for 20 damn years. For the first 6 years, the note helped you pay for the car and helped you pay off that auto loan, right? You didn't have to take $60,000 of your worth and wealth out of your family and give it to somebody else in trade for a vehicle. What I'm saying is you keep your wealth. You take your wealth, you invest into cash flow producing assets that are collateralized. They're safe, they're secure, there's potential upside. And by the way, if people get too upside down, like what happened in the 2008, 2009 crash, right? When people get too upside down, as far as they owe the bank more than what their house is worth, okay? Oftentimes, they will give the house back to the lender voluntarily. It's called a deed in lieu of foreclosure. And so therefore, in my position as the note owner, since I bought into the debt at a discount, usually I don't buy really iffy debt to income ratios. Generally, I will be given a piece of real estate that's worth far more than what I bought the note for. if that's the case. So that does happen. Matter of fact, a lot of people just gave up on the house and signed their house back over to the bank and walked away back in '08. So there are these circumstances. But you guys understand the whole point here, guys, right? Is that, here, let me put a bunch more weight on here. Do some heavier weight. We got 30 pounds on each side, and we're going to put another 25 on each side. So this is going to kick my rear end here. But we need to get to it. Too much talking, not enough working. If you're just joining, guys, I do physical and financial fitness live in my garage, 6:30 to 8 a.m. Pacific time. We talk about staying fit, and we talk about staying financially fit. So today, the subject, again, is, do we buy a $60,000 car cash, or do we buy a $60,000 mortgage note and then let the mortgage note pay for the car? Andy? All right, Andy, awesome. Thanks for joining today, Andy. Andy said he's got to go get to work. Well, Andy works for us, so I never mind when Andy says he's got to go, he's got to get to work. He works with our team, and Andy is a wonderful person. I'm glad we met Andy and brought him aboard on our team. He's a great resource. We love having him a part of the Everly May team and a part of the Note Investor University team. So thanks for always showing up, Andy. Appreciate you, buddy. So guys, this is the facts of the matter is that wealthy people in mind operate in the fact that they use their money to go buy assets, and then they utilize the assets, the cash flow that comes from the assets, to buy their liabilities. It's just a different system versus taking cash and straight up buying liabilities like cars, right? Because we know cars are one of the worst investments out there. Proven, right? They always say, well, if you go buy a new car, man, it loses thousands of dollars right as soon as you drive it off the lot. You understand, guys? Every mile you drive a vehicle, every mile that you drive the vehicle, it loses value. It requires maintenance. You got to do tires, brakes. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to do oil changes. Electric vehicles, I guess we don't do oil changes, but there is maintenance and such like that. So anyways, you guys understand. We won't beat this dead horse. The bottom line is you should let your assets, ooh, that's heavy. You should let your assets, cash flow producing assets, because cash flow is king, cash flow producing assets pay for your liabilities. And what we do by way of overextending lifestyle, most people overextend lifestyle based on the money they earn. And so the more money they earn, the more they increase their lifestyle. Well, think of how the wealthy do it. The wealthy just don't let their liabilities outpace their assets. That's how they retain wealth. I own a 2010 camper, remodeling it to use it as a rental property at the beach to pay for the 2025 camper we bought last weekend. Hell yeah, there we go. Hell yeah. That's another lesson right there. Turn liabilities into assets. Congratulations. Congratulations. Owns a 2010 camper, guys. I'm going to remodel the 2010 camper and use it as a little rental Airbnb at the beach. The money they're going to make off of renting out their old camper as an Airbnb at the beach is going to pay for their brand new 2025 camper that their family is going to enjoy. So does this sound like exactly what I'm talking about, dude? CB2 is going to take this thing that he owns, okay? He's going to take a thing that was pretty much a liability before, like a camper, a trailer, a fifth wheel, whatever it may be. Liabilities, right? Oftentimes they just sit and we don't use them, and we use them a few times a year. We go camping or whatever, and the rest of the time they sit. Cost money, they dilapidate and all this. Here's smart. CB2 is going to take his old 2010 camper, remodel it, put some elbow grease into it, and rent it out at the beach and have people have a cool little place to come stay at the beach, and use the cash flow from now what he's created an asset out of, use the cash flow from the asset to pay for his new 2025 camper. Boom shakalaka. They need the taxes, properties generated. These properties came up for tax deed sale. I don't buy tax liens. So you're talking about tax liens. I don't buy tax liens. It's not a bad investment, guys. I just don't buy a lot of tax liens at the moment. Tax liens is great investing. If you guys don't know about tax liens, of course, look it up. But I'm not talking about tax liens if you're trying to insinuate that that's what I'm talking about that I do. By the way, where the hell's my coffee? So I don't do tax liens. Similar, not the same. Tax lien is you're going to go pay a delinquent tax bill. you're going to go pay a delinquent tax bill on behalf of a homeowner that's behind on their property taxes. And then you could end up inheriting, taking over a property if somebody doesn't cure that. Property tax lien from the government, property tax lien is one of the only things that can trump my position as a first lien mortgage note owner. So in my position, I'm buying the actual mortgage. I'm not buying a tax lien. I'm buying the actual mortgage. The taxes are something that as a mortgage note owner, we have to be very weary of and keep an eye on, because the tax lien from the government is the only thing that can supersede my first lien. Locally, the Peter Yeagans bought half the country here. Really? I don't know who they are, but where are you at? Where are you at, Mac? So guys, go ahead and throw me in some Q&A, guys, if you're curious about anything or you don't understand something I've just discussed. But I was just showing you guys an idea, a system, a theory, okay? I happen to invest in mortgage notes because they create secure cash flow. And Mac, I'm jealous, dude. Someday, sometime, I would love to be able to come meet you out there and come to Montana. I've always wanted to go to Montana. Great hunting and fishing and wildlife and beautiful scenery and stuff like that out in Montana. I've heard, I've seen. I would love to go out there and visit. I've never been. That'd be an awesome trip. So you get it, guys. The wealthy say, first of all, let me stop before I do this set. The wealthy say, first of all, own nothing, control everything. You heard that. So when we buy a mortgage note as an investor, we're right there, guys, where we own nothing. We don't own the house. We don't own the deed. We don't have the property liability. We don't have to deal with landlords and chase rent and do all this shit. That's not it, because we're not buying the house. If we buy the house, then we now own something. It's physical ownership of something that has now liability. Okay? So own nothing, control everything. One of the reasons I became a mortgage note investor, because you don't own the property. You don't have the liability. You don't have the upkeep. You don't have the tenants. You don't chase rents. You don't do any of that shit. You sit back and you make sure somebody paid their mortgage payment, which is check the bank account and make sure the payment came in this month. That's the management duty generally in the mortgage note investing space, until something does go haywire. Then you have to know how to work with borrowers, do loan mods, foreclosures, and all that stuff. But can you use that same theory for rent too? Well, sure you can. I mean, listen, that's why we talk about passive cash flow being king, not cash. Cash is trash. Cash flow is king. Of course, you can level it up. We just talked about a $60,000 car today, and I was showing people how you could go buy a $60,000 note, let the note pretty much pay for the car. Eventually, the car pays itself off, but the note keeps on paying, right? So instead, you put your 60 grand into something that grows into, and I forget what the numbers were that Bethany put in there. You put $60,000 into an investment that grows to $158,000 passively. 60 grand in grows to $158,000 passively with monthly cash flow. That monthly cash flow can pay for the damn car. Car pays itself off in 6 years, okay? But the note keeps on paying. Can you, as a note investor, turn around and sell the property or just cash flow? I don't own the property, so I cannot sell someone's house. I want you to understand something. There's a homeowner living there. There's a homeowner living in the house that's paying me, the bank, the lender, a monthly mortgage payment. So I have their house as my collateral in case of calamity. But I don't own the house. So I can't remodel the house. I can't sell the house. I can't do shit to the house because it's not my house. There's a homeowner living in the house. It's their house. But they still owe on a mortgage. Okay? They still owe on a mortgage payment. So I am buying the actual underlying mortgage. I'm buying the paper. I'm having the mortgage ownership of the debt transferred to me. And the homeowner that's living there will get a transfer letter in the mail at their house that says, don't pay lender A anymore. They're not your lender anymore. They transferred your mortgage to lender B. So you got to pay your mortgage payment to lender B every month from now on. I'm lender B. Okay? So I can't do anything to the property. It's not my house. It's someone else's house they're living in. It's my collateral, though, in case they don't pay me. If they don't pay me, it could end up being my house. If that makes sense. That's a good question, though. So any other questions, guys, on this note investing and why I might buy a note for cash flow? Use the note cash flow to pay for my liabilities? Liabilities go bad anyways. Liabilities you get tired of. Liabilities you want new. Liabilities you always want to upgrade. Liabilities cost you money. Okay? So if I can put my money into assets, yeah, you can still sell the note, however, if that was something that was being asked for Mr. Info. Oh, man, that's bad, Jay, man. That's bad, man. Funny, but bad. Funny, but bad. James Jones, what would you invest in if you only had a few grand? I'm poor. No, you're not poor. To only have a few grand is a lot more than people that don't have a few grand. Okay. Never say I have a few $1,000 sitting around that I can just freely invest in whatever. Do you have any suggestions? And then say you're poor. That's not right. Chi? I don't know what chi is, NJ. Chi. How does it come to be sold to you? Why does the bank want to sell it off? There's a million reasons why mortgage notes are sold. And I'll give you an example here, CB. I rarely buy notes from big banks because big banks normally sell notes in large pools. So oftentimes to buy notes from like Wells Fargo or something like that, you have to have like $50 million of deployable capital to even sit at the lunch table. So I don't buy a lot of notes from like a Wells Fargo bank. Okay, get that straight. And to give you an idea, just to cut to the chase so I don't take too long with this one, you can go to paperstack.com. Okay. Yes, it is much better to start with performing notes. Rod, good question. Is it better to start with performing notes? Yes. And so to answer your question, James, a few $1,000, if you wanted to get into the note space, you can buy what's called a partial. So let's say there's 240 months remaining, like on the example we were talking about today. There's 240 months remaining on this note. You can buy a partial, which means you can go in with your few $1,000, and you can say, hey, for $5,000, can I buy the next, whatever makes sense in the financial calculator. But you can offer to buy a certain amount of those monthly payments. So you don't have to buy an entire mortgage loan. You can buy a certain amount of months of the mortgage loan. Okay, it's called buying a partial. You can buy a partial of a note. Let's see. Banks sell to redeploy. Sorry, I had a call come in on my phone there. I always forget to put this thing on airplane mode. Yes, you can buy a partial. Yes. Banks sell to redeploy capital, not tied up for 30 years. Notes, get their money back. Reply, keep going. All right. Yes. So Bethany was trying to say that there are reasons why banks do sell notes. It's just that big banks normally don't sell one note at a time. For someone like me and you to go to a bank and say, can I buy one of those? It doesn't move their needle enough. Oftentimes, big investment funds and big banks are selling pools of notes. And they'll make you buy the whole damn pool of a bunch of notes grouped together in a pool. Yes, absolutely. It makes sense, right? So banks sometimes need the cash. Okay, banks are good at movement of money and movement of cash. Let me ask you this. If a bank gave somebody a mortgage loan at 8% because they didn't have great credit, a bank gave somebody a mortgage loan at 8% interest for 30-year loan. They're now earning this little bit of cash flow at 8% yearly return for the next 30 years. But banks are pretty good with money. What if the banks had an opportunity to put that money to work at 12%, 15%, 20% instead of 8%? Would they cash out and get the cash back and then move that money into something that produces higher rates of return? So there's just a million reasons why banks would sell notes, but there's also a million reasons why real estate investors that do seller carryback, house flippers, other note investors, smaller note funds, there's all these people playing in the secondary note investing space. You can go to paperstack.com right now. As soon as you get off this call with me, go to paperstack.com. It's spelled with a C at the end. So PAPERSTAC. Go to paperstack.com. My buddies Brett Berkey and them own that. So shout out to my buddies Brett and them at Paperstack. But there's a website, guys, you can go to right as soon as you get off this call. You can go to paperstack.com and you can see that there are notes for sale. There's land notes, there's mobile home notes, there's notes on single family homes, there's notes on multifamily, there's notes to buy. So instead of going after what everybody else is, right? Everybody else is in the Pace Morby world of competing with millions of others trying to do the same damn thing, whether it's wholesaling or stacking more doors and buying some more dilapidated rentals and using this and that technique. And it's like, dude, number one, we're teaching ownership, we're teaching liability, we're teaching risk, we're teaching competition with millions of other people for the same asset. And it's just like, So when I got into the note space, I realized it's much smaller space. Most people don't even know about it. Okay. Let alone it being flooded and filled with everybody and their uncle trying to do the same damn thing. So, yes, there's a bunch of reasons why these notes are sold. Okay. But the bottom line is someone is selling a future promised payment stream for cash in their pocket today. So there could be a million reasons why somebody's saying, it's really great that I'm collecting this $660 a month. It's really great. I'm collecting this $660 a month. But there's another investment I'd like to go do. And this $660 a month ain't going to cut it. So I need to take this payment stream I own and sell it to somebody else to cash in. I need cash in hand today, lump sum, so I can go do whatever the hell it is with that money. So it's the same reason why people sell anything, okay? They're selling a future promise payment stream for cash today. Yeah, banks are great with money. Lehman Brothers, mortgage-backed securities, and credit default swaps are the best. Yeah, J-Man. So this was what had collapsed the mortgage industry. Predatory lending and packaging loans up. So you must have watched the movie The Big Short, I'm sure. The movie The Big Short is pretty great movie and does explain a lot of what happened with the mortgage market and what happened with predatory lending and ninja loans and all those kinds of things that pretty much ruined the economy and destroyed the mortgage market. So yeah, none of that is good, guys. Banks are good with money, but banks also got greedy, which they do. Okay. Banks are good with money, but sometimes they get greedy and they do some stupid shit. That's for sure. Lehman Brothers tanked, mortgage-backed securities and credit default swaps. Yep. They created some really gnarly stuff in the mortgage industry, getting very, very, very greedy. And the bottom line, guys, it comes down to this. Borrowers should be properly underwritten when they're going to borrow money for anything. If somebody's going to borrow money to buy a car, the person letting them borrow the money should do a full underwriting process and decide if they are, worthy of being able to pay that loan back. What happened is, guys, you heard of like the ninja loans where it was like no income verification, no income, no pay stubs, no job. It doesn't matter. Just come on in. We'll give you a home loan. And they were giving people home loans that were nice and big and fat. And they were doing these arm loans and these crazy things, which allowed people to be fooled that they could afford things they really couldn't. Sorry, I had a call. What was that website again? Paperstack. STAC. Yeah, Paperstack. Now, note investing is not real estate investing, guys. Let me tell you, I've seen a lot of people come into this game from real estate investing thinking they got it dialed and get toasted. This is a different game. This is a banker's game. This is not real estate. Real estate acts as our collateral. So it does have some advantage to it if you have real estate knowledge, obviously, because we have real estate as our collateral, and sometimes we have to end up owning the real estate, okay, because we take it back as our collateral. But this is the banker's game. So due diligence is different. Owning the asset is different. Asset management, the rules of debt collection are not the same of collecting rent from a renter. This is actual debt collection practices. So you have to follow laws, and there's ways you can get sued and all sort of different things. So it's just a different caveat. It's not that it's harder than real estate. It's just that it's a different ball field. So I don't expect anybody go to Paperstack, start trying to buy a note off a Paperstack like you'd buy a surfboard off of Craigslist. That's not very recommended. I recommend getting some formal education first in the note space, but go check it out anyways. They'll go to Paperstack and go check it out. They got notes over there. I buy a note. Do you help me? Yes, Dexter. You know that. I'll help you. Dexter, I already helped you, bro. Me and you bought a note together back in the day. Oh, and that's a funny one too. Dexter and I, we owned a note together for a while. Dexter had a situation. He needed the cash. So I said, okay, well, let's sell the asset. I'll go ahead and sell the asset for us. I'll sell the paper. I'll get the cash. So you guys are seeing a perfect reason why a note is sold. Your school. Yes, I have a school. Yes, I would help others. You guys. Okay, so they're just wanting me to tell you guys I run Note Investor University, right? I teach people how to do this. That's one of the things I do. Down in the description of this video, you can check it out. Go to noteinvestoruniversity.com. And if you want to learn how to do all this and own notes instead of rental properties, I'll show you how. All right. But Neither here nor there. My wife does asset management. She uses special software. You're funny, dude. J-Man, you're killing me. J-Man, you're killing me, man. But at least we have some comedy on here today in the comments. J-Man, thanks for that. It's all good. I need a good laugh. The first one was funny, though. The first one was funnier. But you guys get it, all right? So we won't beat this dead horse up a lot. But if you, I don't care if you wanted to get into mortgage notes. If you want to get into mortgage notes, I can help you get into mortgage notes. But if whatever you buy, if it's a cash flow producing asset, cash flow is king. Cash is trash. Cash flow is king. Okay, let's just keep repeating that. Cash is losing value like crazy. Cash flow has power. So if you can put your money into assets that produce cash flow, then let the cash flow from your assets buy your liabilities, you're putting yourself in a far better financial position than you would if you just had cash and went and bought the liabilities. That's all. Simple. And I teach mortgage note investing because, quite frankly, the banks created mortgage loans. The banks created 30-year mortgage loans. And when the banks created and the financial powers that be created 30-year mortgage loans, it certainly may have seemed like it was to help us out, the public, so that we could afford to have a nice house now. They pitched it and sold it to us as the American dream. The American dream was pitched and sold to Americans in the fact that we're going to make it easy for Americans to go out and buy a whole bunch of stuff that they can't afford. We're going to make it possible for you to go out and buy a whole bunch of stuff you can't afford as long as you sign your future life over to us, and we can keep you enslaved your whole life in bad debt, paying for liabilities that lose value and continuing to trade your time, money, and elbow grease to run around that rat wheel over and over and over and over. Yes, we sell the note. We sell the notes because of differences in opinions with partners. They go another route. Yeah. So that was another thing, right? You're in a partnership with somebody in an asset. Maybe you have a partner in a note, and the partner says, "Yo, I need my cash, bro. I got to go do something else." Might have to sell the asset to cash out a partner, something like that, right, guys? So there's just going down the road of there's a million reasons why these mortgage notes are sold. Okay. There's a reason why future promised payment streams are sold at a discount if you're paying cash to buy them today. So there's a reason why they're sold at a discount. And so in the mortgage note situations, all that passive cash flow is about as passive as I've ever seen, because you guys know I preach about the word passive being bastardized all over every industry in the whole wide world. Most stuff is not passive that the gurus out there are claiming to be passive. We get that, right? Anybody with me? Owning 17 rental properties, guys, is not passive at all by any means. It's a headache and a pain in the ass and a liability problem. So how about that? Own nothing, control everything. By the way, one last bit, guys, and then you guys can shoot in some more questions as we go here. But one last bit too is, how about really own nothing and control everything? If you're going to go buy the EV Scout, and from what it sounded like, Mac had a family of means already, so this could be in place. But here's even another caveat. This is a whole other conversation for a different video, dude. But how about this? Buy the mortgage note and let the family trust own the mortgage note, not you. The family trust own the mortgage note. And then when you buy the EV vehicle, let the family trust own the vehicle as well. Then truly you actually own nothing and control everything. Okay? But anyways, anybody have any other questions about note investing or anything like that? What do you think? What do you think now that you guys have heard what a note investment can do? Pretty good investment, right? And if you're going to let passive cash flow pay for your liabilities, you're winning. Oh, all right. Getting warm in here. Sauna gym going on. But guys, that's kind of my lesson for today. Let the assets pay for your liabilities. Buy cash flow. Don't sit on cash. Buy cash flow. And why don't we end it out here today? Before I say bye? Hopefully I don't lose connection. What a beautiful day. Y'all know I'm out here in San Diego, California. And there's my little swimming pool. But let me show you guys this glory. It's pretty bright out here. Whew. Ah, what a beautiful day in San Diego. Beautiful, beautiful day. Gorgeous. I think it's going to be like high 70s, low 80s all week out here in San Diego. So if you guys want to join me, of course, I do physical and financial fitness talk, and we do a workout in my garage gym. We call my garage gym the Dungeon. And Monday through Friday, 6:30 to 8 a.m., I do a workout right here in the Dungeon. And when we work out here in the Dungeon, I try to help people stay motivated to get in their best physical shape ever, no matter where you're starting from, no matter what your age is, where you're starting from, or what your physical health is now. We can always make a change, and we can always do something amazing to change ourselves physically. So if I could be your motivation to get in better shape physically, get up, work out in the mornings. Maybe it's afternoon for you, but I will be here 6:30 to 8 a.m. every morning, Monday through Friday, physical and financial fitness. So we're going to work out. We're going to get ourselves in the best physical shape we can be in, no matter what age, no matter what your starting point. If you want to lose weight, I'm going to help you do it. If you want to stay motivated to build bigger muscles, I'm going to help you do it. Whatever you want, but let's help each other with our health, physical fitness. That's one thing, one reason I want to do this for you guys. The other reason, of course, guys, is because I've been a professional investor full-time now since 2018. My life has changed drastically from, 50-hour-a-week sales management job to having a lot more free time, being able to spend time with my kids, play a lot more golf, and do those kinds of things, because I changed into somebody who thought of buying assets and buying cash flow, understanding how to raise capital from others and build things. And now, of course, it's elevated from 2018 till now. Now we're building a 32-unit apartment and a 48-unit apartment building from the ground up and doing a lot of bigger things that I never thought I'd be involved in. And it all started back in 2018 when I made a mental shift, started learning about assets over liabilities and those kinds of things, and putting these activities to work. So I'm here to help you financially. We're going to talk about cash flow. We're going to talk about interesting theories, which is maybe don't go buy a car cash. Maybe take your cash to buy a cash flow producing asset and let the cash flow producing asset pay for the car. What happens is the car eventually gets paid off, but the cash flow producing asset continues to pay. Okay. So assets over liabilities, guys. That was today's lesson. Tomorrow, I think we may have an open forum. I don't even know if I want to come with a subject tomorrow, guys. So if you're going to join me tomorrow, 6:30 a.m. Pacific time, we're going to come in here. We're going to do a workout again. And we're going to talk more financial literacy. And maybe we'll have an open Q&A tomorrow. We'll see what happens, what kind of things happen in my day today to spark what kind of nuggets I can throw out tomorrow. So come with me in the morning, 6:30 to 8 a.m. Show up, be with me here. We're going to work out. We're going to get in better shape. We're going to get in better financial shape. And it's all about being free physically. Can't be free physically if you have no energy. You can't be free physically. You can't be confident physically if you're fat, out of shape, lazy, tired all the time. Doesn't work. And you can't really be productive for your family or your finances. So let's get in better physical shape, be energetic, and be ready to take on the world. Then we can go out there and we can learn new things, get new skills, surround ourselves with new types of people, and our life can certainly change. What should we possibly look up to ask questions tomorrow? I don't know. I have no idea what you should look up. That's up to you guys. Test me. I don't know. Let's have fun. This should be a conversation, guys, because this is unscripted. This is me and you talking virtually here. And this is how we do it. So you guys can come with anything you want, Dexter. Let's have some fun. Maybe you set the precedence tomorrow, Dexter. You have me talking about something you wish I would have talked about already, but I haven't, whatever it may be. Okay? Somebody said they like my gray. Oh, thank you. Thank you. That's nice. That's an amazing view, CB2. Yeah, it is, man. It's gorgeous out there. The backyard backs up to a canyon, and it really is gorgeous. I love coming out in the mornings and looking at the view. Oftentimes out there, the fog will lay in the valley too, where the mountain peaks are sticking out of it and stuff like that. It's really beautiful out there. San Diego is a great place to live, let me tell you. But it's expensive. So we have to get creative out here in San Diego, maybe more so than some of my buddies that live out in Ohio or Idaho, things like that. People moved out there, and cost of living is so much less. But you get what you pay for. But so maybe, guys, you can come tomorrow, 6:30 a.m. Pacific time. It's physical and financial fitness with Patrick. Tomorrow we're going to do another workout, but tomorrow you can come with some questions you might have. about investing, questions you might have about cash flow, questions you might have about pretty much anything, guys, because you're in Uganda. That's awesome. We're in San Diego, California in the United States. We got someone from Uganda on here. It's so epic, man. What great technology these days we have where I can take something out of my pocket and turn it on and be talking to people in Uganda. Amazing. Glad to have people from all over the world showing up to this. It's beautiful. But we do physical and financial fitness every day, 6:30 to 8 a.m. Tomorrow we're going to come with like open forum, right? That's what we're going to do, Dex. It sounds fun to me. Sounds interesting. Let's just have open forum and have a discussion tomorrow. But only reasons you join me, guys, in these morning lives is for physical or financial fitness. Everything else, I don't wish to talk about in this forum. All right. So let's talk about how to get in better shape, how to motivate each other to be our best, the best we can be physically. And also let's help each other be the best we can be financially. Why don't we all deserve financial freedom? If you look at how hard we work for $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 per month of income, in which we need to pay all of our bills just to survive the lifestyle we're living now, and people making $3, $4, $5, $6,000 per month and wasting their entire lives for that, not spending time with their kids for that, not creating a good relationship with their family or their spouse for that, right? Being busy, being gone, being out of the house from 6 o'clock in the morning to 7 o'clock at night and coming home tired. Guys, this is a designed plan that's not good for us. It's good for the corporations. Okay? Good for the corporations and the government so that we're just obedient, busy, tired taxpayers. We don't all have to be that way. So I want to be able to help you guys. Yeah, hopefully the yapping is motivating some of these people on this call. Maybe not you, Beej. And Beej? Well, that's an interesting name. I had a Beej last night. Just kidding. All right, guys. Let me see if I can get this thing. All right, guys. So hopefully my yapping motivated some of you. Hopefully my yapping got you guys motivated physically and financially, right? Yeah, I know, Beej. It's even more stupid, right? That an idiot like you comes onto someone's live and spends time to make dumb comments like that. Wow. That's pretty stupid. I agree. Congrats, bro. But hey, Beej. God, that's a funny name. I can't say that without kind of smiling a little bit. But yo, Beej. Come on and learn something maybe. Be a better person than thinking it's fun to come on someone's live to just talk shit in the comments like a little kid. You probably are a little kid. It's all right. Don't worry about it. Don't mean to insult you if you're a little kid. You'll learn. All right, guys. So it was fun. It was beautiful. I appreciated being with you all today. Hopefully we learned something. Assets over liabilities. Take your money, invest in assets. If those assets produce passive cash flow, that passive cash flow is the king because the passive cash flow can help you supplement your lifestyle. If you don't need the passive cash flow to supplement your lifestyle, like in the car example, then that passive cash flow, guys, that's coming in from asset number one, the passive cash flow coming in monthly from asset number one can be used to invest into another asset. And you have your money working in two places, okay? So good stuff. Let's see, Rod, the more your channel grows, those mindless people on the other channels will start migrating over. It's all good. It's all good. I did enjoy the beach for my little pee-pee. I did. Of course I did. I mean, whether you got a little pee-pee or a big pee-pee, a beach is still pretty awesome, isn't it? Huh, for sure. All right, guys. So funny. Maybe one of these days, Dexter, tell me, this might be fun, right? Just to really heat it up, right? Just to really heat it up. What I would do, maybe I'll do a show one morning where all I do is just invite the trolls, all the trolls on here. And my normal audience can have a blast just watching the banter go back and forth. It'd be fun to have like 30 trolls on here and have like a troll contest. I want to see who can give the best, funniest troll comment to entertain my audience, right? Because sometimes I know the financial talk and me working out in the garage can get boring and all that. Some trolls come on here and I really appreciate their efforts because some of the stuff the trolls say, man, cracks me up. I start laughing like mid-show, right? Other stuff, though, is just so weak, like this guy Beej. The guy Beej just has nothing, right? Just nothing. It's just, maybe it's a little kid having fun. I don't know how old Beej is, poor Beej. But listen, you got to come, yeah, wilding out. Unc's wilding out. That's awesome. I should have like a whole entire, that's what I'll do. I'll have a session. Maybe not tomorrow. Maybe I'll advertise it. And I want to try to get all the haters on one show and have them compete with who can be the best troll. And we can have a blast. It'll be funnier than shit. Anyway,
Maybe I'll do that someday. All right, you guys. Is that a tap out hat? Nah, it's a Hurley hat. It's one of my old golf hats. I know, Beej. I have 2 people in here, and you're one of them, dude. So you're keeping the algorithm going for me. Hang on tight. Watch, we'll get more people on here if me and you keep going back. Yeah, hold on, Beej. Keep going back and forth with me. We'll get more people on. Watch, just by me and you. Yeah, rad. Let's get more people on here. Good job. All right, guys. No, but maybe I will have. Duh, there's no algorithm. God damn, Beej. You're sorry, bro. You got to come with something fun, dude. I can't believe I'm giving you. You're lucky I'm giving you attention today. You're lucky I'm giving you attention today. You have nothing. You're a horrible troll. It's terrible. What's up, Pot? At least come with something good, something funny, something clever, something that makes you seem intelligent, not just like a retard trolling on someone's live. How crazy are you people? Anyway, all right, guys, fun stuff. Let's get real. Maybe I will have a troll session, a troll competition one day on one of these shows, and we'll invite all the idiots on here to see who can be the top idiot. I don't know. It'll be fun. But other than that, guys, it's 6:30 to 8 a.m. physical and financial fitness. If you actually want to learn something, if you want to get in better shape, if you want to get jacked, if you want to change your body, your psyche, your mentality, have more energy, or maybe actually start making some money where you're so busy managing your money that you have no time. You're too busy working on yourself and your family and your wealth building. You don't have enough time to even go on someone else's show and troll because you're too busy doing stuff for you. All right, guys. Ciao. See you next time.